Welcome back to Glitch. I'm your host Chovy. In my workshop today, I'm hoping to restore a bike. Little bit of rust, little bit of wear and tear, probably needs a new chain. Rims are showing a little bit of rust as well. Before we get started on the install, or at least opening the box to unveil what's inside, I'm going to go ahead and run through a couple things. Let's grab this charger. Right over here. Let's go ahead and grab this box. All right, let's get this box open. I think what I want to do is mount this to this and then mount this to the bike. So we're working on the conversion kit for the mountain bike, and I ran into a couple problems. So the original bolts that came with it, I think, aren't good. They're too short. So I got longer bolts, but they were too long, so now I have to cut them down. I looked at the alignment, and definitely flattening it was the way to go. I'll show you what I mean. We're going to take a look at the bike and what I did to get it to line up properly. Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to be working on that electric bike conversion that we started a while back. I wanted to show you my progress. Before we start tinkering on this, I just wanted to show everyone that I did put on the sprocket before. When I pedal it, I can go as fast as I want, and it obviously stays on there. It's absolutely straight. You can see that is absolutely straight. I'm not going to mess with that whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and take out that battery, and let's see what we got. So this is what came out of the box. This is the 36 volt 12,000 mAh battery that I got for my conversion kit. Behind it is the brain. I was just making sure all the connections are going to fit. It came with this style of connection. Instead of replacing this on the battery, I'm going to leave the battery as is. It did come with this, which I'm going to attach to this. As you can see, it's just red, black, red, black. I'm going to disconnect this, attach this so that this fits right on the battery. Once that is done, I believe everything will be hooked up. It does have some extra connectors, but I believe these are for lights or something else on the bike. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to leave those blank. Okay, so you can kind of see what I did there, and I stripped the part I want to attach, and then I stripped the wires here and just disconnected those. I'm going to end up attaching these, and then it'll plug in nicely. So everything's attached, and I attached everything to the brain, and now I'm going to attach the battery to see if that works, and hopefully if it works, the throttle will move this forward, and we'll see what happens. So we attached everything, everything as a nice clean attachment. I tested the battery. There was some power. I don't know if it was full power, so I'm going to have to charge the battery. Nothing's happening. Mission test 1, not good. Oh well. To the charger. Looks like it's red. I'm going to give it some time. See if we can't get this on green. And we'll try again. Everything was hooked up. I had to make a small modification here because the connection here that the battery came with wasn't the connection that the motor and brain came with. So I had to use this existing connector and use these to connect the rest of it. But it works, and I tested it out. This is the piece that I made some progress on. I went ahead and spray painted the part that I pounded out, and then on this side, the way it originally looked, it just wasn't lining up with the other sprocket that I installed on the bike, and we'll take a look at that in a second. And I also decreased the amount of spacers, hoping that it'll line up. All right, so as you can tell, I'm ready to go. I have everything ready to be hooked up again, and now I have a battery. I have the throttle ready to go here, so it really is just the alignment of the motor and the battery. Let's do this. So I'm going to go ahead and flip my bike. And then we're gonna go ahead and see if we can mount that right here. And then hopefully that will align nicely and we won't have to take it off again. We'll see what happens. Let's flip the bike. I got the bike upside down and the motor's ready to go. So I guess my plan is to unbolt this tire right here and see if we can't mount that thing and get it to align. All right, we got the motor here and we're gonna go ahead and install it right about here. And last time it did work, but it just wasn't lined enough for me. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. All right. All right. So it wasn't lining up enough for me to go forward with the installation. So I went ahead and although I don't like the way it looks on this particular bolt, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the installation. I think it's gonna align a lot better with the spacers that I put in here. Although it did make it so the bolt was flush here, and I'd like it better if I saw a couple threads coming out. So we'll see what happens. But I made sure it was nice and tight. There's some lock washers on there, so I'm gonna go ahead and go with it. All right. I know I'm gonna like this a lot better. So where did my bolts go? All right, so we got the bottom bracket as tight as I want it right now. Let's flip it and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's kind of what it looks like. So far you can see the left-hand chain drive, and you can clearly see the back sprocket, and then there we go. And in theory, it is supposed to stay. I think I have it lined up. All right, so I was able to attach the brain, and I believe the chain is aligned. So check it out. This is what I did with the brain. I attached the brain to the bike right here. And then, of course, everything is lined up here still. Totally work. Boy, this has been a really long project. I feel like we've made some progress today. I have the brain mounted, and I've got the battery installed. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what I've done. In theory, it should work. I did pre-test it. The engine does spin. All right. So clearly we have the engine installed. We're about to plug in the cord. Let's move our way over here and see what I did here. So I went ahead and used the upper bolt that was previously here. I don't know if you guys can see that. And that just fit really nicely. And then this, I kind of use a zip tie. I don't know. I could kind of see the zip tie there, and it goes through the top. That's not going anywhere. And then we have all of our cords. Clearly, we have the power cord ready to go with our fuse that I installed. We have the battery that is awesome. So that's installed with the cords coming out ready to be installed. And yeah, so let's see what happens. Scary. So we have here a test.
Yeah, turn it off.
If it stays on track, I'll feel successful.
Daddy.
Testing in 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, it works. I call that a win. Nice. So the bike itself works. It is pretty awesome, although the wiring is much more crude than I thought. The wiring is so super long, I had to loop it around, and I thought this would go on the inside of this to make it look more clean, and I ended up mounting it on the bottom to keep it out of the way. I mean, what do you expect? I turned a mountain bike into an electric bike. And the sub test was successful. It stayed on, the chain did not derail. I call that a win. Electric bike modification. Spark field test 1. I got my safety gear. About to test the electric modified mountain bike that I put together. My goal is to walk away unscathed. Hopefully the chain stays aligned as well.
You're going! Okay, let's see if you're doing it. Let's see. Are you coming back? Come back! Hi, I see you. Hello.
Okay. Successful. Totally successful.
Did you go fast?
Totally successful.